Chocolate pudding spools are one of the hardest things to clean up on the job. But when duty calls, you know I gotta be on the scene to go clean it up. So step one is to pick up all the trash that was in the bathroom. And then I just started cleaning my way in, so I had a clean spot to stand on as I worked the rest of the room. And then I used hard bristle brushes to lift it up and rags to get a nice finished touch on it. Now I'm not quite sure what this stuff was, but it was really hard to get up, so I had to use my metal scraper to lift up those really caked in areas. And not gonna lie, it was pretty satisfying. And then I got to the area where the chocolate pudding was made, and that part took quite a while to finish up. It took quite a bit of chemicals, rags, and scrub brushes to get it all lifted up, but eventually it was able to all come off. But it's all worth it because you get a nice, satisfying, clean wipe at the end. Now my strategy here was to use these scrub brushes to clean up the insides of it, but after a while I just said screw it and used the steam brush to go clean up the inside. And so after a couple hours of doing that, we got a clean, functioning bathroom again. And so it felt really nice getting to help this person in this situation get their bathroom back. But honestly, that's why. So I clean up crime scenes for a living, right? And so that means I've seen the aftermath of a lot of suicides and homicides in the past few years. So obviously that carries a lot of emotional weight behind it, and you guys have been asking how I take care of my mental health through it all. So there's actually quite a number of things I do personally to help take care of that. And the most important of which is talking to people who listen and really care. And that's why I was super excited when Afterglow reached out to do a collaboration with me. Afterglow is basically a really positive social messaging site. It was designed to be harassment and bully free so that people could be vulnerable on the app and get the help that they needed. So when I first got the app, I made a message request for words of encouragement because I did a pretty gnarly suicide cleanup that day. And within the first hour, I got a bunch of responses. So if you want to download the app, go ahead and press the link in my bio. It's completely free. I'm going to show you how to clean a bathroom sink today. I am a crime scene cleaner, so I do know a thing or two about this. First things first is you're going to want to soak it in your heavy duty degreaser, and then use something like a green scour brush to scrub away all the dirt and grime from over the years. You're also going to want to use gloves to protect your hands from the chemicals, and it just makes it go by easier. Then using some water and some rags, you're going to want to wipe down all the surfaces that you lifted up. And here's the final result. Nice and shiny. Now in the next video, I'm actually going to show you how to clean a toilet, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Lastly, if you haven't already, I would really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed to this channel. It means a lot. When I started my job as a biohazard cleaner, I did not expect to have to do so many freezer cleanouts. But nevertheless, here I am again with the nastiest smelling freezer I have ever witnessed, for real. Basically, all the power went out for several months and all the food in there started decomposing. We were taking out beef, chicken, fish, all the nasty stuff out of this freezer. It was like as soon as you open up the freezer, the smell would just knock you out. So we put everything in these bags and we double bagged it, triple bagged it in some cases, and took it out. You wouldn't believe the amount of flies that we saw circling that thing. And here's me cleaning up the rest of the meat juices that was left behind. But make sure to like and follow if you want to see more content like this. But honestly, I gotta tell you that. So I'm a biohazard cleaner, right? And basically that means I get to help people going through some of the worst situations of their life. Like whether that's crime scene cleaning or helping people get a hoarding situation figured out, I get to help make a really big difference in that person's living situation and the rest of their life, honestly. But not every day at work is exactly like that. Some days like today, I'm doing an odor remediation to help get gas fumes out of this person's garage. And there's nothing too glamorous about it. I mean, I'm literally just scrubbing down the walls and floor. So even though this isn't like a life-changing service I'm providing, it's still really helpful to them. And that's totally okay. You don't have to do life-changing services to feel good about the work you're in. So if you're an entry-level employee cleaning up people's homes or a plumber, like that's okay. Take pride in the work you do and just do it to the best of your ability. I mean, you don't have to love the work you do, but you can still take pride in it because it actually does matter. So I really hope this video resonates with a few of you guys and maybe just changes a little bit of your perspective on your work. But if you made it this far in the video, go ahead and give it a like and I'll see you guys in the next one. You know, it's actually been a hot minute since I posted a crawlspace cleanout. So if you're not sure if you had claustrophobia, you probably will now. You pretty much have to be on your stomach or your back to get anywhere in there. So the reason we do crawlspace cleanouts is because rodents will oftentimes poop or pee down there and sometimes even die. Like here was a huge pile of raccoon latrines that was definitely smelling up the entire house. So my job today is pretty much to take out all the contaminated vapor barrier and other organic debris and get it nice and clean. So I'm not gonna lie, these are one of my least favorite jobs to do, but at the end of the day, you really get to help someone in need. So once everything's taken out and all the rodent feces are gone, me and the bio boys take a quick break to enjoy the fruits of our labors. But then it's back to work to lay down the brand new vapor barrier. And here's the finished result, so I hope you guys like it. Do crime scene cleaners get paid well? Generally speaking, you do, especially if you own the business. But if you're an employee like me, you're going to get paid just as much as any other restoration specialist. And that's totally fine. I really don't do this for the money. I really just enjoy helping people experiencing some of the most traumatic things of their entire lives. Plus, I get the opportunity to really make them smile by doing little extra things like dusting up their furniture, or even changing their fire alarms or air filters. It's little things like that that aren't really required, but make them feel so good at the end. Time to clean the box truck. But before we do that, we gotta take everything out first. Now we try to clean the box truck at least once a quarter because we bring so many nasty things inside of there. So Makai and I decided to take a few hours today to get it all done. So once we take everything out, we decided to sweep out all the dirt and trash that was left in there. And I thought about just taking some rags and chems to just wipe it down, but then I just said screw it and power wash the whole thing. Also, if you don't know who I am yet, I'm a crime and trauma scene cleaner, so check out the rest of my profile if you want to see those nasty biohazard cleanups. So after we power wash the inside, we start scrubbing the outside of the box truck. Then I do some finishing touches inside and crank up the power washer to wash down the outside. It was a crazy hot day today, so both Makai and I actually got sunburns from doing this. So once we finished the outside, we actually had to start doing some of the tools we use on the job site. And let's just say there's a little bit of splashback. But I'm so glad we got those clean. They were really nasty. Then we just refill all the chems we used and start putting everything back nice and neatly. This was my favorite part about the job because now we gotta put everything back where we wanted it to. Also, please don't roast me for that. That was an accident. But here's the finished result, and I can't wait to get started on the next job with this new box truck. But honestly, today's a great day because it's... Jacob, what's the worst place you've ever had to clean? Well, whenever I get asked this question, my mind instantly jumps to the house I did whose toilet stopped working for about 5 years. Despite it not working that entire time, they still decided to use it. But it wasn't just the toilet that really made this job the worst one we've ever done. It was the knee-deep pile of rotting food and raw meat that was filling up the entire house. Plus the sheer amount of fluids leaking out of the refrigerator that made the entire carpet soaking wet. So, car break-ins are still on the rise in my city. And while I can't stop those from happening, I can't help the poor folks that it affects. So this poor lady had her travel van broken into, and the dude just shot up drugs and did a whole bunch of other nasty things in there. So the first step was to get rid of the obvious needles that were right there in the front. And then I got in there and just started bagging up all the trash, being super careful to find any sharps like the one here, and really just taking my time because I do not want to poke myself. And so this guy was really good at hiding them. I mean, I found one underneath the seat here, and I found a couple underneath the sink as well. So on top of taking my time with this clean out, I'm really wearing a lot of protection, especially on my hands, to make sure I don't get poked. So after all the biohazards are taken care of, I do a quick vacuum and wipe down to make sure it's just nice and clean at the end. Now, I'm not a car detailer, but I do what I can to make it look a little bit more presentable. And so after a few hours, this was the finished result. But honestly, friends, it really is unfortunate that... Now, don't get me wrong, I love pets, but sometimes those little nuggets can just make a big mess. So today we're cleaning up some pet droppings that this poor lady simply just couldn't do herself. So after we let the chemicals sit for a little bit, we use our rags and plastic scrapers to bring it all up. These jobs are low-key really satisfying because you get to do these super clean wipe-throughs. But honestly, my favorite part about the job is the fact that I get to chop, fold it, and pretend I'm working at Cold Stone. But this is the finished result, and I'm super proud of how it turned out. So I clean up hoarder homes for a living, and one of the things I always get asked is whether or not the police have been called on me because they thought I was stealing. And the short answer is basically yes. Oftentimes, the homeowner is gone when we're doing our job, and we've had a couple of concerned neighbors actually call the police and have them show up to our doorstep. Once we explain who we are and what we do, they're usually pretty chill. So it might disrupt the workflow a little bit, but at least we get to make a good connection with a local police officer. So I clean up hoarder homes for a living, right? And something I still fear when I'm walking into a job like this is that I won't be able to get it all done. It can just be really overwhelming the amount of stuff we have to sort through and throw away. But I was honestly super stoked to get working on this project because the whole family came together to help their parents sort out this mess. Basically, the home just became too much of a tripping hazard for the parents to live safely. So it was really cool to offer help with something that they've been trying to get done for over 15 years. So after we got everything taken out, the boys and I started to sweep up all the floors and take down all the cobwebs from the ceiling. We basically got to turn this garage into something completely new. And this is what the finished result looked like. Hope you guys like it. Okay, but how does it get to that point? So I clean up hoarder homes for a living, and a lot of people keep asking how these homes even get to this point. And the short answer is because there is some type of traumatic event that happened early on in their life. Hoarding disorder is a real mental illness, and it's usually the result of the loss of a loved one or PTSD. So I know it's easy to judge people who live like this, but a lot of people are in this situation right now and really need help. So who knows, maybe as a community we can help destigmatize that and empower people to get the help they need.